Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Pastor Kim's Corner. Let me get this link in here. Let me get this link. I hope you all are having a good day. Hello, hello, hello. Woo! Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right. I do hope everybody is having a good day. And tonight, we are going to be talking about this hot topic. It might not be hot to you guys. It might be old to you guys. I'm not sure, but I heard a gentleman talking about it. And so if you don't know anything about it, then you might find it a little interesting. If you do know something about it, then let me know. And I've got my girl coming up. Let me pull her right in. It might be old to you guys. I'm not sure, but I heard a gentleman talking about it. And so if you don't. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, TSC Canada. Hello, Prophet Williams. God bless you. Hello, Auntie Mama. God bless you. Thank you so much for coming in. Hey, sis, how you doing? Hey, sis, how you doing?
Well,
That's good. That's good. Yeah, so let's see if I can pull this over just a little. Yeah, I'm going the wrong way. So let me pull it over just a little bit because I got like half my face in there. So tonight we're talking about the MGTOW and the red pill. So I'm gonna let y'all know I did a little research. When I first heard about it, I was telling my daughter about it, and she just did 2 videos. If you don't have Lydia's Love Language, please go and check her out. Oh, there she is. She's in there. Lydia, you are more than welcome to come on the panel. I dropped the link. I can drop it again if you want to come up. If you want to show your face, you can. If you don't, then that's fine. But you are welcome to come up and share. I was just looking at your one of your videos. I did not get a chance to look at both of them, but I will be looking at them later on. So I'm dropping that link again. And if you want to come up, you are more than welcome to do so. And so let me get this out of the way. Just click on that link and then I'll let you in. Okay. Yeah, you look a little foggy, sis. You might want to, you look like you're maybe the back, are you on your phone? Like maybe wipe your camera. Yeah, that happens to me all the time. Okay, so it's all good? Okay. All right, so okay. All right, so we got Prophet Williams in the house. Yes. We have Arthur Martin. Yes. Happy holidays. We got TSC Canada. We got Auntie Mama, Lydia's Love Language. So come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Facebook side, YouTube side. We're talking about this MGTOW. Lydia, I would love for you to get in on this. So I'm going to let my girl, this is Rashana Ferguson. She is a friend of mine. There you go. She's a friend of mine. We are, yes. So I have recruited her. I hope not reluctantly, but I have recruited her to come and do some topics with me twice a month. Just, some Tuesday night tea, talking about different topics. And so this is one of the topics, the MGTOW. Prophet, I'm going to recruit you too to come on this panel and talk about some things. Anyone who wants to come up, but you're more than welcome. So let's jump right into it. The MGTOW stands for Men Going Their Own Way. Okay. Hello world. Hello world. And so this is a movement that was apparently, and I'm just going to give my little spiel on it, and then I'm going to let my sister talk about it. But this was apparently birthed out of men just being confused about what women wanted and the feminist movement, or the modern day feminist movement. Let me put it like that. And so apparently, men became confused about exactly what women wanted when it came to being a woman. And so they just decided that they were not going to have anything to do with women. Now, there are different levels of this. Apparently, some decided to just be by themselves. Others decided to just, have a partner, but not entering into any type of relationship, just have that, that passionate partner. But, men, they just decided, look, it's too confusing. I don't know what you want. So, I don't know when you want to be, feminine, when you want to be independent. Like, it's too confusing. So I just don't want to have anything. I'm not, I'm still heterosexual, but I just don't want to have any type of relationship. So that was my take on it. So you tell me what your take on it is from your, from what you did. Hey, Daryl, how are you, man of God? God bless you. Go ahead, sis.
I am muted. Let's try that again. From my take on it, it was a little bit more than it. It was like an organization who got together and said that feminism has destroyed the structure of families and structures of how the world works. So they've decided that, hey, I want to separate myself from women altogether. I read that there were multiple levels. There was like levels 1 through 4, 4 meaning that I don't want any contact with women at all. I want to be all the way separate. Um, and one of the things that was amazing to me was it wasn't a new thing. This actually came out in 2000. I was like, wait a minute, this has been around like 20 years of these people who have decided that, hey, the world is turned upside down. So their solution to feminism and not understanding feminism is I just want to be separate. I don't want to be part anymore. And then it was a lot. I read a whole bunch, but one of the things that was real conflicting to me that this was started from a white middle class males. That this wasn't from non-privileged people. This was a privilege coming from a place of privilege. Was one of the things that I took out of it. Like, wait a minute, what exactly are you going awry for you? You're coming from a place of privilege and you're saying feminism has turned your world upside down, but you're still coming from this place of privilege. That was one of the main takeaways that I did from the research that I did earlier.
I lost a little bit. I lost a little bit of that last part, your volume. Um, okay, yeah. So it sounds like you really did do do a lot of research on this whole thing. And so I didn't know that it had been around for 20 years. I know that watching one of Lydia's videos, she was saying that it had been around for a while, but I didn't know. My thing was, what do you think about, and guys, please comment in the live. What do you think about the idea of women wanting to be independent, but at the same time, if they want to be independent, what role do they or should they play? Oh, we got somebody else coming up on the panel. What role do they or should they play in a relationship? You know what I mean? Because I'm more traditional. I'm a girly girl. I'm going to go when I go to the restaurant. I'm not gonna open the door. I'm gonna stand there and wait for the man to open the door for me. And so, but at the same time, I like to have my own money. I like to be able to spend. Of course, you want a man to take care of you. That's the chivalry aspect of it. But what how do you balance, and how is a man supposed to know?
Well, I'm finna go biblical. I'm finna go be preacher on you for a second. Two things.
Can you turn your volume up a little bit, because I can't hear you. I don't know if it's on my end.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Two things.
I'm watching what you're doing, or you just sticking it back there. I'm sorry, y'all.
Okay.
Talk to my son.
Okay.
Go ahead.
The two things. Well, one of the things you said something about having your own money, but you can be in a traditional relationship and still have your own money. Proverbs 31, the woman was able to go buy her own field and do her own thing. She didn't have to consult the husband about that situation or what she was going to do in that situation. So it's not that, being in a traditional role that you can't have your own money and I think sometimes we confuse those roles that one person has to dominate the other. You can be in a traditional relationship and still have your own money and still have your, I don't want to say independence, because you're interdependent. When you're in a relationship, you're dependent upon each other. In the first part of that, you were saying that when should men know? Well, if everybody played their part in their role, then it wouldn't be a guessing game. If the man is the head and the woman comes there under, there's no guessing game of what roles we should play if we go back to the biblical roles of what we should have.
Okay, Lydia, did you want to add something? So glad we have Lydia's love language on the panel, guys. If you don't know her, please go over to her channel, check her out. She is on the road to 100. Last time I looked, she was at 96. So if you're in here and you don't have Lydia's love language, please go click that subscribe button. Let's get her to 100 tonight. But she did 2 videos on this topic. So what do you say, Lydia?
Hey everybody, I just wanted to show my face real quick because I'm like, I just came from the market, so I'm like putting stuff away. But so you won't see me moving around, so I'm just going to take my camera off. But hello, everyone.
Oh, what? I can't hear.
Can you hear me, Miss Ferguson?
I can hear you a little bit, but just
I can hear
I don't know what's going on with my I'm zooming. I'm not zooming. I'm on StreamYard from my phone, but I have to keep my laptop muted. But go ahead.
Okay. So I was surprised too when I first heard about this. Pastor Kim, who's my mom, she's the one who told me about it, and I was really surprised. So the videos that I do have 2 videos up, I just aired them today. But like you said, I was really surprised to see that it was like a middle class thing, like privileged people. It was the take I got from it was that, it wasn't even. It was less about men like countering the the new feminist act or movement. It was more about how women break men's hearts and how men can't get over it. Like it's hard for them to get over it, and a way for them to try to get over it was to confide in each other, people that have gone through the same thing. But in doing that, they just was like, you know what, just forget these women. You know, like I think about married middle class men, black, white, Asian, Latino, it doesn't matter, like how they have these boys trip. And sometimes not even like middle class. It's just people who are in long term marriage relationships or long term, relationships, and they have these boys trips. And I just imagine like these men going on this boys trip, this men's trip one day, and saying, you know what, my wife divorced me and took everything I had. I don't want to deal with women anymore. I don't trust women anymore. And that's what it turned into. But a lot of these men are right-wing, conservative, white.
Don't forget to thumbs up the live, guys.
Like a lot of them are conservative men. Like
don't forget to thumbs up the live.
The Republicans just thumbs up the live. Add to the
I'm trying to figure this out so I can hear, because I can't hear.
Clearly.
This is messing with me.
Don't do your mom like that.
No.
But yeah, I think it is a spiritual thing. Like I said, if you watch my video, I said towards the end of the first video, or it might have been the second video, like it's a spiritual thing. It's nothing new under the sun. The devil tries new ways to do the same thing. And so just like he tried to put man against woman since the beginning of time, I think this is another way in which the devil is just trying to put man against woman. And he does it systematically, mass incarceration, killing black men, homosexuality, to take the man out of the home, like to disregard or to diminish what God put together. And I think that this is just another way to do it, but it's just like very blatant. But the one other thing I will say is that I did find hope after like watching this. I realized that a lot of men not really going for this. It's a very particular group of men that are like, whatever. Some people still feel like it's on a rise, but it happened 20 years ago, and I'm just now finding out about it. So, granted, I'm a little younger, and I probably would not have understood earlier, but yeah, that's what I got.
Okay, so Shelly Fonte has a question. She says, "What's the red pill about?"
Can I answer that first?
Sure.
So the red pill is, and so for all of you, I'm actually doing a 3-part series on this whole thing. The next video I will be uploading will be about the red pill, and that will air on Friday. Okay, and then there's one more portion that will air next Tuesday. But the red pill is this. Like in the Matrix where they say, red or green pill or red or blue pill, whatever it is.
Right.
The red pill is taking the red pill is the first level of being a MGTOW. So the first level, if you watch my video, the first level of being a MGTOW is this point of actualization where you realize that the life that you've been living is a lie. So taking the red pill allows you to see life in a different light, which is really the truth. Okay? That's the point of actualization. But it's some people that take the red pill or follow that concept that just believe in like anti-government stuff like that, and they're not necessarily MGTOWs. But you can't be a MGTOW without taking the red pill.
Okay, so it's just like the old school saying drinking the Kool-Aid or something like that.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, so Rashana Evangelist Ferguson, what's your take on that?
I'm so no title, but the red pill, what it was like almost like the wokeness or whatever. When I was reading about it, the people who took the red pill were woke and saw beyond all the matrix or whatever, and the people who had taken the blue pill were still in the matrix or the traditionals of what's going on. Because I read about the red pill. There's a purple pill. The purple pill is like when you're still you're woke, but you're not fully woke. So you're like on the line in between the two. So it was more so of, if I took the red pill, I'm woke and I know everything and I'm all about this. So it wasn't just in the MGTOW. It was like a whole wokeness of I know this or I know that, versus the people who are in the traditional roles or whatnot, and they were in the blue pill. It's the same reference from the Matrix. Not necessarily Kool-Aid though, because Kool-Aid is more of an indoctrination thing. So, but very close.
Got you. Okay. Yeah. So that's what I read about it too. I was reading on Wikipedia and I was like, this is so like vague. This is so, okay, red pill. But I was intrigued by the and guess what? The part of it that intrigued me with the MGTOW, men going their own way, was that a lot of women today are saying that men do not approach them and they want to know why. That's where it came from. Remember that, Lydia? Because a lot of men no longer approach women because it's confusing. God bless you, Daryl, man of God. Yes, I'm good, praise God. And so that was part of it. Like, women want to be approached. My thing is men don't change. Women have changed, but men don't change. They are still the same. You give them a good meal, you stroke their ego, you know what I mean? You do the other part, they're good. They basically don't change. And they like to hunt. Okay. Now I might be old school or whatever, but the newer generations, they don't give men an opportunity to pursue, to hunt. And so it's sort of taken away from the dating game, so to speak. That's my take on it. But that's, again, women have changed, but men have not changed. And at some point, there has to be more dialogue and even more, I don't know what books are out there to address, the roles or the parts. And of course, when you're in a relationship, you do have to find out what works for you. You can't say the woman is supposed to cook. We've known people in relationships where the men cook, men like to cook. So it's not exclusive that a woman has to cook. And of course, you find what works for you. If both of you are, working or whatever, you do stuff and you do stuff, you do it together. But I've heard countless conversations where, the woman is complaining that she has to do everything. And the man is saying, well, I'm working. Like, if I'm working, then, am I supposed to work and come home and do the cooking and everything as well? So I don't know if that ties into it, but y'all can comment.
One of the questions, based on what you said initially, what do you think the role of feminism and independence has played on these women not being approached as much as they were before the feminist movement or the independence? I'm an independent woman, I don't need nobody kind of situation came to play. How do you feel like that took precedence, or how does that affect what you were just saying?
Well, I think, again, I watched a great portion of Lydia's Love Language first video, and it was very, very good. I mean, the girl she's good. And I'm not being prejudiced. But the video was,
thank you so much.
You can't help who you are. She's young, she's exciting, but she's a teacher at heart. That is her God-given gift. So she went all the way back to slavery time to talk about how feminism began and how Betsy Ross was arrested for voting. So that feminist movement, to me, is somewhat different than what some women look at as feminism. Am I saying it right? Feminism today. A lot of times I hear, or see, especially with social media, this is a deep topic, you know what I mean? Because women were fighting for equal rights as human beings, okay, and still fighting for equal rights as human beings. The right to vote, the right to, equal pay, the same pay, that type of thing. That has transitioned to, in my opinion, to other things where women are, they want to, I just don't agree that every woman can hold the same type of job that a man can hold. That's my opinion. I don't agree that every woman can hold the exact same job that a man can hold. You know what I mean? I don't agree that a woman can be on a football team with all men. You know what I mean? Women can. Go ahead.
What about these new women and their definition of I'm independent and I don't need nobody? How do you feel about what is your definition of independence and their new definition of independence?
That's what I'm alluding to. I'm trying to go there without going there, because a lot of times women, feel like, well, if a man can, do what he wants, sleep with who he wants, be with who he wants, then, I can do the same thing. It's different for women. Especially when you talk about a spiritual level, it's different for women. You develop soul ties. We are receivers. Men are givers. They drop something off on you and leave it. They done. You know what I mean? we keep stuff with us and we carry it around. So we can't react the same way. We pretend like we do. Many women pretend like they do, but they can't. It can make a woman hardcore or however they want to be identified. But the liberation of it is completely different. The liberation of it, to me, in my opinion, is completely different. If that's what you're asking me, that independent aspect of it, it's really deep, because then you have to ask yourself the question: if you're looking for companionship, what are you looking for with that companionship? Because it used to be you were looking for someone to, quote unquote, you have a family together, you take care of the kids, they take care of the home, or y'all do it together, that type of thing, the more traditional setting. So if you're going to be independent and you're not going to, need anybody for anything, then what do you need companionship for? That's the question on the floor. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think for me personally, because like I said in the video, I do classify myself and recognize that I am a very independent woman, but I don't run around saying that. And I think that women going around saying that they're an independent woman, that's kind of like how this stuff came about, because they want to prove that they don't need a man, but you want a man. And I think that saying that you're an independent woman forces the man to find another position in your life. Because, can you hear me? Oh, she talking to my.
Yes, I can hear you. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Forces the man to find another position in your life, because he wants to be the one that's giving. He wants to be like you said, we're receivers. He wants to be the one that's giving. He wants to be the one that's providing. So when you say I'm an independent woman, not to say that is the only role that a man can play in your life, is to provide you with things, but it limits his role. It limits his role, and it limits his role. Like, if we real, it limits his role to that sexual interaction. But you don't want that. You want more than sexual interaction, but you telling him you don't need him. So yes, I'm independent, but I don't want to stay independent. I don't want to be completely dependent on someone else. Like she was saying earlier, like it's an interdependence, right? And that's the type of relationship that I aspire to have. But I'm not going to go around here saying I'm independent, I pay my own bills. I don't need that. I don't need you to validate that for me. I know that because I'm broke every month when I pay my mortgage, and I'm broke every month when I pay my car bill. I don't have to keep saying it. You understand what I'm saying? So I think that's a part of the reason why, on time. I think that's a part of the reason why the other cultures, specifically the Black culture, has bought into the MGTOW movement, because, like we both said earlier, it started with middle class white America, but now you got 20-something, 30-something, 40-something men that's Black and Spanish saying I don't deal with women. I don't deal with women. And guess what? Those 40-something, 50-something-year-old men who saying, I don't do women like that. Guess what they're doing? They're preying on the single woman because they have forums where they're like, oh, come get advice, come get advice, come get advice. And they make millions of dollars and selling books and all that crap to these women who are wondering why they can't find a man. But you get advice from a man who don't want a woman. He don't want to deal with you. And he's not telling you how to get a man. He's telling you what men don't want. Now, if you listen to any of them guys, they never tell you how to get a man. They always tell you what men don't want. And they know what men don't want because they don't want you. But I'm done.
Yeah, I think, okay, you went down the rabbit hole. I got kind of lost, but I got a little lost. Go ahead, sis.
I'm sorry, I did go down the rabbit hole. It's a touchy subject. I don't like that men giving out advice type. I don't like the Steve Harvey thing. You know what I mean? But go ahead, I'm sorry.
Oh, why you gonna pick on Steve Harvey? Leave Steve Harvey alone.
He's a great guy, but it
took him his third wife to really, help and find out what I think, he was just trying to be helpful. I don't think it hurt. I think it was because we need a man on the panel because we can't think for a man. We're not men, so we can't think for a man. A man can tell you exactly what he wants, exactly how men feel. You know what I mean? You always, have to have, that guy friend. I'm talking about people who aren't married or whatever. You have to have that guy friend who can tell you exactly, what a man wants, what he thinks, how he feels. You can't get another woman's advice when it comes to that type of a certain type of relationship. So, but that was my question was, if you're going to be completely in, and I have a question for you, Lydia, or for anybody on the panel. If you're going to be completely independent, what do you need the man for aside from sex? I mean, let's just be real. So I'm asking that question. You want companionship, but my question is, will you be able, as an independent woman, will you be able to be submissive? Anybody, do you think a woman who is independent will be able to be submissive?
But then what becomes your definition of independence? Is independence saying that you are free from authority or you do your own thing? What is it? What are you saying independence
Okay,
is?
that's a very good question. Okay, so you have your own, of course, you have a job, you have your own place, you have your own car, you don't have any. You're not, my definition of independence is you're not depending on anyone for the security of your life. Whether it's financial security, you're not depending on anyone for any type of security. You're depending on Jesus. I mean, it's true, but you're not depending on anyone. And I hear Lydia, when she's saying, okay, she pays the bills. Like if you're independent and you're struggling, then yeah, because everybody has to bring something to the table. You want somebody to come to the table and help carry this load, and the man might say vice versa. I don't know. It depends on what type of person it is or who you're, connecting with. But the question is, can you be submissive? If you are that person that has been on your own for a certain length of time, will you be able to be submissive?
I think you can be, because I think what you're describing is self-reliance. So I rely on myself to pay the bills and take care of me and the kids. But that doesn't mean that I'm independent of other people, because there are people that are still helping me or do what I do. But I think in going from self-reliant into interdependent relationships, you would just have to understand what your role is and what his role is. You can't just go with the I'm a baddie and I've been doing this all by myself and I run this.
Very good choice of words. Go ahead. I'm gonna let you go ahead. Finish.
For me, I got married later in life, and it wasn't one of those situations where, because I had been a single mother for a very long time, so I had been doing my own thing, making my own rules. But one of the things that we kind of talked about in premarital counseling was hey, this is a new role. You are no longer the boss. You now are submissive to each other. So you can't just be like, hey, I'm the final say. Like the buck doesn't stop with me anymore, or it didn't stop with me anymore. I had to realize that there was somebody above me and somebody above him. So it's like, oh, as long as he submitted to Christ, I should be submitted to him. So it was a adjustment period where it was like, oh, okay, well, it don't stop with me anymore. But it was a give and take. Like you were saying that, hey, I want you to come in and be my protector, provider, be my priest. So then in that sense, then there were some things that I had to do differently in order to get those things. If you know what you want and what you want out of that relationship, you got to say, hey, well, I can't be the bad boss if I want you to be the priest, provider, and protector.
Okay. Well, I got a couple things in here. We have an MGTO for life. And he says, I prefer coffee. Taste Buds Philly says, she's saying a lot. I disagree. Advice can come from many places. If you apply it to your life, it's up to you. Taste Buds Philly says, independence and submission is relative to the time and season in your life, as well as the person you are with. That's confusing. Taste, that's not fair because I would never say that to somebody in the chat, but that's my daughter. So I take that back. That's not fair.
Yes. He was saying.
Go ahead. What does that mean?
Different seasons require different parts of you that like I was saying, like as a single mother, I may have a one perspective of how I'm living, but when you came in a different relationship or a different season, you had a different aspect of how you're submitting and how you classify yourself as independent or interdependent, depending on who you're with or if you're by yourself.
That's cool. Okay. Yes. And then Taste Buds Philly says, yes, self-reliance. That's very good. So we can take that independence off the table and say, okay, if you're by yourself and you're raising your family by yourself and you're taking care of yourself, you're being self-reliant. I like that. I like that. So, because, like I said previously, I am a girly girl, so to speak. I want the door to be open for me. I want you to, fill my gas tank, just the little things. It doesn't have to be anything big. It's just the little gestures. You know what I mean? GTO says for life, I prefer. So why are you MGTOW for life? Why for life? Oh my gosh, that's just such a long time. Why for life?
Because somebody hurt his feelings and he don't trust nobody no more. That's why.
Oh,
I don't know. Like I said, this is all new to me. And I think, of course, there's always, you can look at it two ways, from a natural point and then of course from a spiritual point of view. That, husband and wife, that was the first team God created, the first relationship God created, the first, corporation, however you want to look at it. I knew she was going to say it. She said, Taste Buds Philly says she's hating, I'm leaving. She said, thanks, Mrs. Ferguson. Yes. Auntie Mama's still hanging with us. She said, I understand, Pastor. I'm old school to the little things. The little things mean a lot. Yes. I'm sorry, Taste Buds Philly. I get it. She explained it. You might find a time when you're independent or self-reliant, and then a time when you have to be submissive. But it just depends. It depends. And then there's we're talking about a whole lot of different things on a whole lot of different platforms. You know what I mean? Again, it's just a question of if you're looking at it spiritually, if you're looking at it naturally, it's a lot. Taste Buds Philly said, if you're tired of women, do you still use them for your personal desires? MGTOW for life. They trying to pull. Come on now. You join the chat. Are you still here? Are you still here? Enlighten us. MGTO for life. Enlighten us. Tell us what's going on with this movement.
While he's doing that, I just want to say this as well. Because you asked the question, could I be submissive? Somewhere in my rant, I think you missed that I said, you know, I'm independent, but I don't want to stay independent. And I'm not struggling. You know, I do well for myself, but I'm independent, but I don't want to stay independent. Like, I want to get into that that interdependent relationship. But a lot of times, what starts out as a necessity to be self-reliant, right? Because of survival, turns into you being like proud of yourself, like, wow, I'm really doing it, to I can do this on my own. I don't need you in the headache. And I think that's kind of like I think that was the like she was saying, she was a single mom for a long time. I think that was like an okay mentality, because that's what it was. Like, I've been doing this. I don't necessarily need you. So if you want to give me a headache, I don't need you in your headache, because I could do this on my own. But I think the younger generations have turned this into, I don't need you because I can do it on my own. And I don't need you to not give me what I want. I don't need you to not spend money on me the way I want you to spoil me the way I want you to. If you're not going to abide by my rules, then I don't need you. And men don't dig that. They just don't dig that.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think anybody would. You know, nobody wants to be, used, or, gold digger.
But I also think we've lost the sanctity of marriage and the respect and responsibility and the importance of marriage and the benefits of marriage, because we have gotten into this place where I'm doing it by myself. Why do I need a partner for things? So we've lost why we needed a godly man in our life or whatnot. So you've been doing it on your own for so long that you're like, hey, I can be mom and dad. And that's never true. That's a lie from the pit of hell. You cannot be a mom and a dad. I can be a very good mother, but I can never be a father, because that's not who God designed me to be. And you need both. And what happens is you're so used to doing the job of both that you act like you no longer need that other person to fulfill the role they're supposed to have. So we're like, hey, if you ain't coming in bringing the bread, don't come. When that's not all they're needed for. They're needed for, raising of children and some other things.
Absolutely. The Bible, in the book of Malachi, the Bible says that God ordained marriage as a guarantee for godly offspring. That was his guarantee for godly offspring. Isn't that interesting? So, we have to keep that. We have to keep that in mind. You know what I mean? And so, I don't know. I just thought it was an interesting topic. And I thought it was interesting, again, from the point of women, are having a hard time or just trying to find out why the man is not approaching them. Why the man is not approaching them. Taste Buds Philly says, men tired of women seemingly no longer want to do what it takes to build and win the trust of the women that they choose to be with. And then she says, now you no longer commit but want perks. And they blame it on independence and women taking over the male roles, which in some ways can be problematic. I definitely agree with that. I definitely agree with that, because submission comes from God. You must first submit to him. And submission is a willful act. But I definitely agree with when it talks about taking over the women, the roles. I mean, just taking over some of those roles, because, sometimes you've been so used to doing some things, and if a man was raised a certain way to be, a gentleman or a caretaker, or, if his father took care of everything and he was raised a certain way, and then he runs into this woman who's used to doing everything for herself, then like you said earlier, that kind of backs him up. You know what I mean? And then sometimes it's a, I don't want to say the word power struggle, but it could be a struggle of, you know, let me do this. Let me take care of you. Let me, you know, I got you. I got you. You know, that type of thing.
I think what happened is we wore the hat when we were supposed to be wearing the hat for like a placeholder until the person came along, but we wore the hat for so long that now we act like it's our hat to wear, and you don't want to give up the hat that was never yours to wear in the first place.
That's kind of what Lydia was saying, you know, like, you know, you wear what, you know, what turned into doing something, you know, it just turns into something else. But I thank you guys for chiming in. I appreciate y'all so, so much. You know, just touching on this topic. I wish that we had had a gentleman on the panel to just, you know, chime in, you know, give us a point of view. But I do appreciate you and thank you for joining. And so we're going to get on out the way. It's getting late and it's a weekday. And we'll be back. We're coming on every other week with some Tuesday night tea, some good topics. So I appreciate you, Lydia's Love Language, for joining us. If you don't have Lydia's Love Language again, make sure you go check her out. She also is on Instagram. She does a live, her and Shelly Fonte, every Monday. Rashana Ferguson does a live every morning. Do you do yours every morning, sis? She does a live, I believe, every morning. She has several books out and she does a live on Instagram. A morning motivation is very peaceful, very calming, and it's a morning affirmation, actually. It's a morning affirmation. So check her out on Instagram every morning. It takes patience and it requires wisdom and discernment. Yes, it does. Auntie Mama says, have a blessed night. Love you, Pastor. All right, sisters, y'all be blessed. Thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate y'all
Thank you for
so,
having
so
me.
much. Thank you for coming up. I appreciate you. Thank you,
Thank you,
sis.
sis.
Thank you too for coming on. Is your Instagram affirmation every morning, sis?
It's every other morning.
Okay, so it's every other morning. What's your Instagram?
Rashana R.C. Ferguson.
R.C. Ferguson. Okay, so it's right there. Go check her out on Instagram, connect with her. Love y'all. Have a blessed day and a purposeful life. Thank each and every one of you for coming in, and you know that I love you with that agape love. I'm out. If I can.